Alright guys, what we're going to look at in this video is how to create a lead ad. So a lead ad is where you're collecting information from your customer or from your leads, if you will, within Facebook. So they never ever leave the Facebook platform. It's all done within Facebook. You're never sending them to an external website or a landing page. So the first step is to make sure that we choose the right campaign objective. So usually what you're doing is running a traffic campaign or a conversions campaign maybe, or even engagement or PPE campaigns. But for lead ads, what you're going to do is select lead generation down here. So it's a totally different objective, and you can't just use a conversions campaign or a traffic campaign. It has to be done within the lead generation campaign objective. So we will leave that as the default name and click continue here. And we're using a test page for this, so I'll just pop this in here. If you haven't used this page for a lead generation campaign before, you'll see a disclaimer here prompting you to accept the terms and conditions first. We've already done it for this one, so in your case you'll see a button here to read and accept the terms and conditions, so click that, have a read through. If you're happy with it, then click accept to proceed. Otherwise it's not going to let you click this continue button down here if that hasn't been agreed to already. So you have a product catalog option here as well. You don't have to include it, but it could be handy if, for example, you're advertising items that are out of stock and you want to collect information from customers who want to be notified when those items are back in stock. You could add a product catalog to your lead form as well. Everything else at the ad set level looks essentially the same here, so you can choose your targeting and add in any detailed targeting or demographics, add custom audiences and lookalikes and things like that. And then you can choose your placements, so you can toggle between desktop and mobile if you want. We'll just leave this as automatic for now. The budget and scheduling is essentially the same as well. And now at the optimization level, typically over here you would have options to optimize for link clicks or conversions or landing page visits or impressions, but for a lead generation campaign you can only optimize for leads. Bidding is the same, automatic or manual, based on what leads are worth to you, charge per impression. You've got ad scheduling, standard and accelerated delivery as well. So we'll just choose some random targeting in here. Let's just put business as an interest, but obviously you'll pick the right targeting and whatever audiences you want to reach here, and we'll click continue. Now here's where things start to look a little bit different. So we'll add in a random image here. So there we go, we'll take this one off. So at the front end, your ad's going to look like any other typical link click campaign. So you can also run this as a video or a slideshow or a carousel as well. So with a carousel, it'll look like a regular carousel ad, but when they tap on it, instead of sending them to an external URL, it's going to open the lead form. So you're just going to add in your text and headline and everything here. So we'll say download this awesome business ebook, download this free ebook. Obviously this is not great ad copy, but it's just as an example. We'll go download now. And then the other thing that you'll notice is with lead ads, the call to action button is mandatory. I just realized I'm quite zoomed out here. There we go. So you have to have a call to action, whether that's apply now, download, get a quote, learn more, sign up, or subscribe. Whichever one is most applicable to what your lead ad is for, that's what you should use. So we're going to choose download for this one. And then you're going to make sure that your pixel tracking is switched on as well. So that's really important, because if someone opts into the lead ad and downloads the ebook, for example, and then 5 days later they end up buying something on the website which is being tracked through the pixel, you'll actually be able to track that purchase through the reporting from this ad. So it'll assign that person as having submitted the lead form and making a purchase. So let's just add in, we'll leave the link off for now. Everything else looks good. And then further down, you will see your lead form library. If you've set up lead forms in the past, they'll all show up here in a sort of library section. And you can select any of those if you've got one that you want to use again, Or if you've never created one, you'll see the screen here and you can click to create a new lead form. So let's go ahead and start creating a brand new form and I'll walk you through it. So this is what you're going to see when you first start to create a lead form. You've got the content section on the left here, followed by settings as well, and then on the right you'll see a preview of your form. So the image that you're using, an intro section, the questions below it. So all of this will change as we start editing the form as well. So within content, the first option that you have here is to select the goal of the lead form, whether that's to get as many leads as possible, which is this more volume option, or whether it's for leads that show higher intent. And adding in this section, you'll see pulls in this review screen over here, where I'll just open that now. Leads will be able to review their personal information and they'll have to slide to submit the form. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for them to submit the form, which in theory means that you get leads that are higher quality since it's more of a conscious decision to sign up. So after selecting the type of form up here, the next section that you have is the intro. So in here you can add in a headline. So this section is optional. You can toggle it on and off based on whether or not your form needs it. So we'll say free business, ebook here. And then you can choose whether you want the image to pull through from whatever image that you're using for your ad, or if you want to use a custom image, we'll just leave it with this one. And then in the text section, you can choose the layout that you want, whether you want a paragraph or bullets. So we'll just use bullets for this. This section is optional, but if you do have it, then the headline and the layout are both required. So after that, you have your questions section. So we'll pull this in here. You can use the default headline, which is just going to pull in over here, or you can add your own headline. And by default, Facebook is always going to pull in email and full name, but you can click show more options down here to pull in other fields like address or phone number or birthday, but just keep in mind that the more fields that you select, the lower your response rate is likely to be, but this could also mean that the lead quality is higher. So below that, you have the option to add in some custom questions that aren't on Facebook's list. So if we add in one here, we can choose a short answer or a multiple choice question, which are pretty self-explanatory. And then this next option here is for conditional answers. So these need to be inputted as a CSV file, and Facebook has a sample file that you can download here to see what the template needs to be or how that needs to be inputted. But essentially how it works is, so say for example your lead form was to receive a free sweatshirt. Your first question could be whether they want a hoodie or a sweater. And if they choose a hoodie, it might ask if they want a red hoodie or a yellow one. But if they choose a sweater, it might ask if they want a green sweater or a black sweater, because those are the colors that you have in those two different styles. And then it might go on to ask what size they want after choosing the color and so on. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this one. Just tag me in the group if you're having trouble and I can help you out. And then you can also add in the custom question appointment scheduling as well, so they can schedule an appointment from the lead form. So the next section is the privacy policy, which is mandatory since you're collecting information. So you can add in text here like view our privacy policy, and then the URL must link to a real privacy policy. So make sure that it's not a dummy one like this here. So I'm just going to put in example.com/privacy. Again, make sure that this is to your actual privacy policy or to your client's privacy policy. And then you can add in custom disclaimers as well. So say, we'll just call this additional disclaimers. Please consider the following disclaimers. And you might have something like, I will not copy or reproduce this ebook. And you can make that one mandatory. And you could add in another one that says maybe I consent to partner companies sending me their cool ebooks as well. and that one might be optional because they don't have to do that. So you can add in anything that you want here, and then the next section is the review screen. So you can't edit this, you can just remove it as we saw at the start by changing it to a more volume form. But the review screen just gives them an opportunity to review the information that they've provided and the disclaimers, and then slide to submit. So once they've submitted, they then move on to the thank you screen over here. So you can once again customize the headline. So your ebook is on its way. And we could say, thanks for submitting your info. We have sent you the free ebook. Click the download button below for instant access. Make sure you do email it out to them as well, but you could sort of put this in for instant gratification as well. For the button over here, you've got two options. So you've either got view website, so you could send them to your website maybe for a different upsell or something like that, or you could have a download button for something. So you could put download now, and then you'd have the link to download the ebook there, or if you're using a website, you'd have a link to your website or whatever you want to have in there. So once you're happy with it, you can flick through to preview it over here. And once you're all set and you're happy with the way it looks, you can click the finish button here. Oops, required obviously. Just put example.com and questions. It wants us to take this out, so we'll take that out. And now we'll click finish. Cool, and now we have a finished lead form. So you could have changed the title as well. You have this ready here, you can flick through it over here, and it's good to go and ready to be used in your ad. Alright, so now I'm going to take you into the publishing tools for the page to show you how to access the submissions that took place on that lead ad or through that lead form, and also how to get it to integrate into your client's CRM system. So we're on the Facebook page right now, and what I'm going to do is click on Publishing Tools at the top here. And then what you'll see here on the left is that there is a library of all the different content that you've created, or the assets rather. And you'll see that all of the lead ads are here in this lead ads forms section. So you've got your forms library here. Any forms that you've created that are still in draft mode will show up over here. So let's go into the library, and you'll see here is that form that we just created. So right now that there's no image on it in this preview because we selected to have the image pull through from the ad, so that'll change depending on which ad it's being used with. So it's not going to show us an image there, and we can click next and see there's the disclaimers that we had put in there, and then someone will be able to click submit as well. So you can also download the leads over here by clicking this download button, and you can choose what format you want that in or what date range you want to include. So obviously now if you're doing some kind of webinar or a download, you want them to be able to have instant access to the content. So you don't want to have to go in every day and have to manually download and then import the email addresses so that you can send them out what they've signed up for. So what you're going to have to do is connect your lead forms to your client's CRM system, to their email software, and there is a list of integrations that are available over here from Facebook. So I'll pop a link to this page below this video. But essentially you're going to click on this button up here to connect your CRM to your lead database. So I'll show you how to do that with Zapier as an example. So here's how you'd hook it up to a tool like Zapier. So it doesn't really matter if you're using SyncSumo or Zapier or whatever. Essentially you're just connecting the two together. So once you're in Zapier, you'll click on Make a Zap over here. And then once that loads, you'll select Facebook lead ads. And then on this next screen, save and continue. So if you haven't done this already, you'll have to connect the account here. We'll just click save and continue, and then you're going to find your Facebook page. So we're looking for Cat Howell, and then this will populate with all of your forms. So this is the test form we're looking for. Click continue, and then connect and continue. And then it's going to ask what we want to connect it to here. So we'll go get response, and then you'll create a contact and you'll save that. So this is what you'll do so that every time someone completes your lead ad, it will automatically put them into the email CRM system. So it's a very efficient way to market, so you don't have to go in there and manually export and download stuff. So that is essentially how to set up a lead ad. So when you're running a lead gen campaign, ideally you want to set your lead ads up before you build out landing pages because it's a lot faster, but just keep in mind that not all audiences are going to respond well to a lead ad. Some of them are going to be very, very good with lead ads and you'll get really cheap leads, but other audiences are just not going to really understand what a lead ad is or feel comfortable with it and putting their details into it, so it's not going to work. But at that stage, you can then make a call after running the campaign if it's not really working the way it needs to be, and you can then build out a funnel with a landing page and a thank you page instead of using a lead gen campaign. So give lead ads a go first though, because they can be a huge time saver if they work well. And essentially this is how you will build them out within Ads Manager.